I like to speak chicken sometimes because most of the time I'm speaking English around here and these guys can't understand a word of it. So out of being polite, I speak chicken at times. You know, there's a real big misconception about fairies. Fairies are thought to just sleep all the time, but that's really not true. They work very hard. Fairies, honestly, are really just social butterflies. I mean, they're always having some party somewhere, and they do get tired. But generally speaking, the reason why they sleep so much is because they sleep because they're so beautiful. They're just so beautiful. You got all these fairies gathering together at these huge parties, and of course there's no drinking and no smoking. And then they have to work during the day. I mean, they're all out saving babies. I mean, these ladies are very productive. They're working hard all the time. Which brings me to our next story about these two little mice. Now, these two little mice, they live with their mama in a cotton candy cave, which is underneath the dumpster that's used for the parades that are in the area. This one happens to be on the top of the hill in San Francisco. Now, they live there with their mama, and their mama's so nice and friendly and loving and caring, and they live in a world of cotton candy when they're at home with their mama. And there's all kinds of treats and snacks and things to eat, and it's just so nice and wonderful and loving and caring. And anyway, one day they went out the drain pipe and they were discovering all kinds of new little snacks to eat. And they found a discarded coconut drink, so of course they looked inside to find the sweet, sticky slurry that lay at the bottom of every discarded coconut drink. And they went in to get a few tonguefuls, of course. I mean, I would have done that. But when his buddies showed up and walked in the coconut, they decided to go for a ride. Now, if you look carefully, you'll realize that these are albino city mice. Now, city mice are tough, and they can handle a good roll. And they got no limits, they got no brakes, they don't stop, they go. So they're rolling down the hills, and they're going around the corners, and they're bouncing off of walls, and they're riding down sidewalks, and it just seems like it goes on forever. It's not a problem until they stop and they realize how far from home they've actually gone. How are they gonna get back? What if they get hungry? And tonight, there's going to be big rats out roaming the streets, and boy, you don't want to bump into one of them. You know, street rats are tough, but boy, you don't want to bump into a scarred up rabid rat at night. Boy, this is a problem. And there is a really mean sewer rat that lives in the boiler room underneath the Alcoa building, which is the direction that they're heading. Bill is not a happy camper. He's blind in one eye, he's got a staph infection in his lower jaw where a hypodermic needle snapped off in the bone. Now, when a sewer rat like Bill bumps into a couple city mice, Bill will turn those two city mice into two snacks. Bill's always hungry, and he's angry and blind in one eye with a staph infection in his lower jaw. He's always looking for a little treat. Now, these two guys are like two little pieces of cotton candy running around downtown. That's the perfect snack for Bill. They need to be saved. Was so worried, and she was down there in her cotton candy cave waiting for her two sons to come back, and everyone was kind of unhappy and sad and nervous, and this is a problem. And here comes Bill up the sewer pipe. It's bad timing. Douglas had his 3D printer going 24/7. He wanted to make pocket gliders for all of his friends so they could all fly around together, and quite frankly, his house was starting to look like bees at a barbecue. And then a really wonderful thing happened. Douglas's friends thought it was a good idea to each pitch in $5, and they bought Douglas a season pass to all the ski resorts. And so for a day, he went up to Palisades and skied with all of his friends.
Douglas decided to fly home early because he couldn't get his new invention out of his head. Earlier that week, he was riding around in the car with his hand out the window, and he noticed that the wind could carry the weight of his hand, and he thought, why not just do that with your whole body? If you could somehow mount jetpacks onto your ankles that could carry the weight of your body, you could lean gently into the wind, and the wind would caress you and carry you, while you could fly backwards eating maybe a chicken wing or something. Douglas was cutting some nice slices off a sharp cheddar block when he accidentally cut one that was too big. But he decided to bring it anyway. Now, no harm can be done from eating a piece of cheese that's too big. It just makes the apple extra cheesy.
mice. Please won't you like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to see our next Double Babies adventure. See you then!